Hey warrior, yes, I'm talking to you. How do you start your day? Do you wake up, and before your mind even clears, reach straight for your phone? If that sounds familiar, listen closely. Because right now, in that very first moment, you are giving away your power. Before the day has even begun. Most people wake up, and instantly their mind gets hijacked. Notifications, messages, noise, and just like that, before their feet even touch the floor, they've already lost control. Now compare that to the rare few, the ones who begin their morning with intention. No scrolling, no rushing, no reacting, just silence, presence, and clarity. They don't wake up into chaos. They wake up into command. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." So why do so few people actually live like this? Because most have forgotten something simple. The morning is your kingdom. It is yours to rule, or yours to surrender. Today I'm not going to give you 7 generic tips copied from 100 other videos. I'm going to give you a full ritual, built the way the old Stoics actually lived it, not the way social media repackaged it. Some of what I share you may have heard before. Some of it I promise you haven't. Stay till the end, because the last one is the piece almost nobody talks about. And it's the piece that holds everything else together. If you're serious about this, drop one word in the comments right now. Ready? Not because I need the engagement, because you need the commitment. Let's begin. Discipline doesn't start when your feet hit the floor. It starts in that half second between sleep and waking, when your mind is still deciding who's in charge. Most people lose right here. The alarm goes off, and a quiet voice starts negotiating. 5 more minutes. It's cold. You deserve the rest. And most people listen. Not because they're weak, because nobody ever taught them that this voice is not their real self. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself at dawn, "When you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work," as a human being. Here's the truth most people miss. Every choice is a rehearsal for the next choice. When you hit snooze, you're practicing surrender. When you rise the second that alarm sounds, you're practicing command. Imagine this. It's 6 in the morning. It's cold outside the blanket. Nobody is watching you. Nobody would even know if you stayed in bed another 20 minutes. And that's exactly the point. This moment, this invisible, unwitnessed moment, is where your real character is built. Not on stage, not in front of others. Here, in the dark, alone, deciding, so here's what you do. Don't negotiate with yourself while you're still lying in bed. That's a fight you will lose every single time. Decide the night before. Put your alarm across the room. When it rings, stand up in one motion. No lying there thinking about it. Movement first, thoughts later. And when your feet touch the ground, say something out loud. Even quietly. I said I would, so I will. It sounds small. It isn't. Because a person whose word means something to themselves becomes very hard to shake. Drop this in the comments. Discipline is my alarm clock. Here's a question worth sitting with. Why do we protect our money, our passwords, our homes, but hand over the most valuable hour of our entire day to whoever posts first on our feed? The first hour after waking is different from every other hour. Your mind is soft, open, still half-formed from sleep, like wet clay. Whatever you press into it in that hour leaves a mark that lasts. There's a reason for this, and it's not just philosophy. Your brain, fresh out of sleep, is still in a slower wave state. It absorbs whatever it's given without much resistance. Feed it noise in that state, and the noise sinks deep. Feed it stillness, and the stillness sinks just as deep. That's why the first hour isn't just important. It's disproportionately important. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of Rome's most respected philosophers, said something that still cuts deep today. If you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or foolish in extraneous matters. In other words, don't be afraid to miss the first hour of scrolling. You are not falling behind. You are getting ahead of everyone who is. Try this tomorrow. Before your hand even reaches for your phone, sit up. Breathe just for 2 minutes. Let your mind power on slowly, like a screen warming up, instead of being switched on with a flash. Then ask yourself one quiet question. What kind of energy do I want to walk into today with? Even one word is enough. Calm, steady, focused. Silence isn't empty. Silence is where your power lives. Drop this in the comments. Silence gives me control. Life is not going to cooperate with your plans today. Somewhere between your first coffee and your last meeting, something will go wrong. An email will annoy you. Someone will be late. A plan will collapse. This isn't pessimism. This is just Tuesday. The Stoics had a practice for exactly this. It's called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Seneca explained it simply. He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand. In other words, if you already expected the rain, you won't be shocked when it starts pouring. Imagine this. It's the middle of your workday. Someone says something sharp to you, something that stings, maybe even in front of others. The old version of you would react instantly. Snap back. Carry the anger for the rest of the day, maybe take it home to the people who didn't deserve it. But this morning, before any of that happened, you already rehearsed this exact moment. So instead, you pause. One breath. You don't even force a smile, you just let the sting pass through you, instead of gripping onto it. And you answer calmly. In that single moment, you didn't control what they said. You controlled what happened next inside you. And that is the only thing that was ever really yours to control. So here's what you do. After your quiet minutes, spend 60 seconds imagining the friction points of your day. Traffic might make me late. Someone might criticize my work. My patience might run thin by 3 o'clock. Then ask calmly, if that happens, how do I want to respond? You're not hoping the storm won't come. You're simply no longer afraid of it. Drop this in the comments. I prepare. I do not panic. Every person who moves through life with quiet strength has one thing in common. A single sentence they return to, again and again, like a compass needle finding north. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself constantly, not for readers 2,000 years later, just to remember who he wanted to be, before the empire's chaos tried to tell him otherwise. One line from his private notebook still stands taller than most modern self-help books. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine this. You're walking into a room where you know people disagree with you. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe it's a family conversation you've been dreading. Your heart is already picking up pace before you even open the door. Your palms are a little damp. And then, quietly in your mind, your anchor returns. You have power over your mind, not outside events. You don't say it loudly, you don't need to. You just repeat it once, and something shifts. Your breathing slows down half a step. Your shoulders drop, just slightly. The room hasn't changed. The people in it haven't changed. But you have. And that's the entire point of an anchor. It doesn't remove the storm. It just reminds you that you're the one still standing at the center of it. Choose one sentence. Just one. Write it somewhere you'll actually see it. Your mirror. Your notes app. Say it out loud when you wake. Not as a chant, as a decision. Without an anchor, your mind drifts toward whatever is loudest that day. With an anchor, there's always a rope back to yourself. Drop this in the comments. I anchor my mind in truth. Here's something almost nobody tells you. The reason so many people feel emotionally fragile isn't that life is harder now. It's that they never once, in an entire day, sit down and actually meet their own thoughts. Seneca wrote that a person is only as unhappy as they've convinced themselves to be. That's not toxic positivity. That's an invitation to examine the convincing. Take 5 minutes with a pen. Not to write beautifully. Just 3 honest lines. What am I actually feeling right now? What do I need to let go of from yesterday? What's one thing, however small, I'm grateful for today? And here's an honest confession. Some mornings, you'll sit down and write absolutely nothing meaningful. You'll stare at the page and feel like you have nothing to say. That's completely fine. That's not failure. The habit of showing up matters far more than writing something profound every single time. Some days it's insight. Some days it's just 3 ordinary lines. Both count. This isn't a diary. This is maintenance. The same way you'd check the oil in a car before a long drive. Skip it enough times, and eventually, something breaks down at the worst possible moment. Drop this in the comments. I lead my mind before the world can. Your mind and body are not 2 separate rooms. They share the same walls. A sluggish body drags a sluggish mind behind it, and no amount of positive thinking fixes that. Movement fixes that. There's a simple reason this works, beyond just discipline. Movement increases alertness at a physical level. Your heart rate rises slightly, blood flow increases, and your body sends a direct signal to your brain, the day has started. Stay awake for this. That's why even 90 seconds of movement can shift how you feel, far more than 5 more minutes of lying still ever could. You don't need an hour at the gym. You need 90 seconds of proof. Proof to yourself that you can do something uncomfortable before the world even asks you to. 10 push-ups. A short walk outside while the air is still cool. Cold water on your face. Marcus Aurelius once asked himself a question worth borrowing. Is this what you were made for? To feel nice, instead of doing things and letting the feeling come from that? Motion creates feeling, not the other way around. Don't wait to feel ready. Move and readiness will catch up to you. Drop this in the comments. I move with discipline. I conquer my day. This is the piece almost every other video skips. And it might be the most important one. Before you walk out that door, spend 30 seconds, not visualizing your whole day, just visualizing how you want to carry yourself through it. Calm in the meeting that usually stresses you. Patient with the person who usually tests you. Steady, even if the plan falls apart by 10 a.m. This isn't magical thinking, this is rehearsal. The same reason athletes visualize the shot before they take it. Seneca put it plainly. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Now imagine this, further out. Not tomorrow, not next week. A full year from today. Imagine doing the same 30-second decision every single morning for the next 12 months. 365 mornings of quietly choosing who you want to be before the world tells you otherwise. You won't just have better mornings. Something deeper will have shifted. You'll notice that the calm you once had to force yourself into now just shows up on its own. The patience that once took effort becomes your default. You won't just be someone who practices staying steady anymore. You'll simply be a steady person. That's not a technique at that point. That's who you've become. So decide. Just for today. Just today, decide who's walking out that door. Drop this in the comments. I decide who I become today. Here's what nobody tells you about mornings. This was never really about waking up early, or push-ups, or cold water on your face. Those are just tools. The real thing being built here is trust. The quiet, private trust between you and yourself that says, I do what I say I'll do, even when nobody's watching. That kind of trust doesn't come from one perfect morning. It comes from showing up on the mornings you don't feel like it. The tired ones, the cold ones, the ones where the bed genuinely feels like the better option. Those are the mornings that actually count. So ask yourself right now before this video ends, who is in control the moment your alarm rings tomorrow? You or your habits? You don't need to apply all 7 of these tomorrow. Pick one. Just one. Do it for a week before you add the next. Mornings built this way don't collapse under pressure, because they were never built on motivation in the first place. They were built on decision. Let today be the last morning you hand over to noise, and let tomorrow be the first morning you actually own. Like this video. Comment your favorite truth. Share it with someone who needs this. And if you're new here, subscribe because more Stoic wisdom is coming. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I wake up like the 1%. I lead my life with Stoic power.